We'll call the Parks and Recreation Committee to order. I'll do the invocation. Everybody bow their head. Dear Father, forgive us for sins. Help us make the right decisions tonight. If there's anybody that you know that don't know the right way towards you, we ask you that you please touch them, show them the glorious ways that you are. Help us make these decisions in your name. In your name we pray, amen. May I get approval of the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor say aye. Any nays? None.
You all right, Mr. Milton?
Any public comments on agenda items?
That'd be a none.
None. New business. Discuss and take action if necessary, adjustments in park fees. I'll let,
Want me to?
yeah, I'm gonna let Michael. take this.
Absolutely, thank you, Dan. So, just to give an understanding of where the catalyst for this agenda item is, for those that don't know, the park currently has a revenue line in the budget for $50,000 from the CVB agreement that's been in existence, I think, for quite some time. I think it was renewed several years ago, maybe like 2020 or somewhere around that time. And that agreement stands to end, I believe the time frame is 2027, or a stipulation of self-sustainability, of what they define as self-sustainability within the agreement. And so what that self-sustainability ratio is, basically consists of a certain number for RV rentals as well as emissions to be at a certain threshold, and then they're considering that self-sustainability. So that kind of led us to the conversation about where our prices currently are, as well as where we could be. And that's when, we involved James, Dan, Courtney, myself, just to kind of evaluate, what our numbers were over the last year, use that unit amount to kind of determine or run some scenarios of where we could be. And so I believe what we came to the conclusion of, was that the two main lines in regards to revenue are RV campsites and admissions. So what we've done is, in taking James's recommendation as well as Rosemary's, as well as comparing it to other surrounding parks in the state, to determine that our recommendation is to increase our RV rentals by $15, and that impact potentially, using the numbers from last year, could be around another $50,000, which would offset the CVB's revenue stream going away at some point. I would like to say that I don't believe that the CVBs don't necessarily just walk away. I think that there's still room to negotiate and maybe form some sort of transitional plan, but we need to be prepared. Obviously, the long-term future of what that holds, that's not going to be there forever. And the CVB's mission is more targeted towards specific projects and initial tangible outcomes, and not, providing for the park and its upkeep. So our recommendation is to increase the RV campsite rental by $15 per slot, as well as increasing the admissions from $3 to $5. And the reason for that increase on the admissions really was to be focused more on not only comparisons, but efficiencies and whatnot. And obviously $3, you're having to form change every time someone pulls into the gatehouse. But we're very considerate of certain situations where you may have a family that pulls up and may have 5 children, and they're trying to participate in the playground, do some other amenity out there. That our recommendation was to limit that to maximize at $20. So basically $5 per person with a max of $20 per vehicle, standard vehicle that would be. Buses would be a different story. But the net impact of those two changes would bring revenue up by around $130,000. So we've really sat down and ran these numbers, and this is what we come up with. Yes,
Which is what % of the budget on the revenue side? The increase?
Tell you right quick, we used to say.
James, when's the last time we adjusted fees, entry fees?
Probably about 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And James, while I'm pulling up the percentage, you want to speak to what, what we come up with, any input you'd like to give?
Well, I'm obviously biased, but I believe that $3, we're way undervalued. When you look at opportunities to do things in this community, you know, you go to the picture show, it's $8, $9, $10 a person, then you get Coke and all that. And you can come to the park, stay all day, and there's lots of things to do. For $3, I think it's really undervalued. The state parks are, I think they're around 3 or 4, but as we know, they're super subsidized by the state. So they're propping them up. Tyler State Park is, I think it's $7 a person over in East Texas. I think that the $5 is fair, and the idea that capping it, first I wasn't necessarily agreeable to that, but Dan brought that up, and it does make sense. You know, that you cap it at 4, so a large family is not penalized for that. So I think it's a good thing.
Another piece of this is, you know, we offer family passes and individual passes. So if there's a frequent user of the park, you know, and, I mean, they can do the math themselves, but if they're gonna be coming out there a lot, it's certainly a better value to buy a
Sure,
pass.
I don't like to publicize that, but yeah, it's a good value.
Best-
So what about the
best value.
price of that?
That's what we
That's a-
talked about, not going
Not
up on
raising.
that
Yeah,
at
that's
this
a-
moment. The reason is because if you got a mom with 3 kids that's over 3 years old, they're paying $20 to get in to
Yeah.
go walk the park.
That's right.
And it just, that's why we did the cap, and then they could do a family package. They pay $100 a year, and that takes care of it. You know, once you pay the $100 a year, you can go in and multiple times.
100 times.
James,
know,
James, I'm looking at firewood for $5. How much firewood are they getting? And are
3
you,
little pieces.
okay, because if it was more, I was just gonna order my firewood from you guys.
I thought about that
I mean,
too.
we've kinda got a captive audience with the firewood. but-
Okay.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna buy it, they would
Oh,
just
okay.
start.
One other thing,
It's 100 low.
veterans is still half price, is that correct?
Correct.
The what?
The veterans.
Yes, it's
It
still.
maintained the same, it's still
We-
half price.
The only thing that we talked about going up on was going from $3 to $5 with a $20 cap.
Right.
And we talked about going on the RV sites at
Yes,
this point.
yes.
We didn't have the numbers on the pavilions to check, but just to let you know, at some point, the way things are going, I personally think we need to keep this down. I don't think we need to go up on everything. Because these are taxpayers that come into the park. These are our people, and we need to take care of them, but we have to catch up with economies today.
Right.
And losing possibly that 50,000, we have to do that, but we have to have more in case something else happens.
So I have
Mr.
a,
Chairman,
Yeah,
go ahead.
the premium RV rate,
Mhm.
site, what was the number on that, going from 40 to what?
40 to
50
60.
Yeah, 60.
That one, actually, yeah, that one goes up 20. That one, I
Okay.
do apologize, that was the only one that was, $20.
Okay.
That's over 50.
And I did talk to some people, since we're at the Light of the Pines, about the deal, and none of them declined and said anything negative. They were like, well, to be honest with you, y'all are way too cheap.
Yeah.
Heck of a deal.
It's still a good deal. I mean, there's nowhere in Louisiana you can go, even at the premium site at 60, that you can get that with the amenities that we have in the park.
So how often is someone staying after, like for a pavilion that's closing, is $50 per hour? Do you see that a lot?
No.
Okay.
We don't encourage it.
Okay,
So you're trying to discourage it by
Yeah, that's-
making it unreasonable, I guess.
right.
But it's not really unreasonable, because if they do stay over, I guess that is
It's
extra
very,
time.
you know, we may have maybe one a year.
Okay.
I mean, just looking at the numbers, I mean, S1 $50, I mean, to me, that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
That's
And
really
really, if you
fair.
look at L4, the size of it, as many
Right.
tables, $75 is a steal.
Right.
You know, for
right.
L4,
Yeah.
right there in the middle of everything.
But that's why I just made a recommendation that we kinda hang here for right now.
Yeah,
We don't wanna put a sudden shock on everybody, on everything, and just do the RVs, which has been a long time coming, and plus,
All 3 of those are going up $20?
no,
15.
15.
15, they're all 3 going up
Yeah.
$15, okay.
except for the premium. Premium's
Yeah.
going up 20.
It's going up 20. So the
You know-
deluxe and the premium will be the same,
Right.
gotcha.
The
How many
10
premiums do we have?
I don't know how many we have, James.
You know, Gunner? How many we have?
Probably like 15 to 18, I think,
Yeah.
maybe. It's all on the lakeside?
Yeah, right.
The one thing that I hear most about the RV park is sometimes they wish we had more spots. And we've already, James and I have talked about that in the past, about in the future, you know, adding more spots down the road. But I mean, doing this kind of helps revenue, and maybe look at that down the road, to maybe adding some more spots if possible. It's just like if we needed to add another pavilion at one time, I mean, we would have to look at these numbers on the pavilions about,
Right.
so they sustain themselves.
Exactly.
So the only one that I saw was like the archery. It's $8. I mean, we kinda had, me and Glenn kinda, $10, I would say go to $10 on the archery, because most people that go out, they're gonna throw at $10. You throw $2 back, I mean, I think $10 is gonna be great. We could go to 10 on it.
And can you explain to me the $3 land use fee?
That's
Yeah.
the,
Just get in the park.
That's just to get in the
I
park,
just call
okay.
it that, that's
Okay.
getting in.
Yeah.
We're going to 5 on that one.
And
So
let me go back to
possible.
Logan's question, because it's a good one. Admissions is roughly 38% of the revenue, and, I'm sorry, our RV sites is roughly 38%, and admissions is roughly 33%. You're looking about 70,
Okay.
around
the
70%
budget.
of the
Yeah.
revenue, right? So, I mean,
Right there.
obviously, targeting these two makes sense.
How much will this increase that overall number, do you think?
Overall, about around $130,000.
Now, one thing to consider is, and I've seen it before when we've raised rates, that there may be a dip next year. Because of the rates raising, people are gonna, not all of them are gonna be happy, especially the locals within 30,
Yeah.
45 miles. So you may see a dip in revenue, but it'll edge back up in the next few years. Just so you're aware that that could possibly.
And I do agree with that, but I also think that the family passes are gonna jack up too.
Yeah.
So where you getting, well, we normally get 500 passes a year possibly, it's probably gonna go,
Yes.
isn't it about 500?
500 family
Yeah,
passes.
right.
That could easily go to 6.
Yeah, I could easily go to 6.
Right.
Would you say that routinely on the RV sites, routinely, yearly, they're booked 80 to 90% of the time?
Probably, I wouldn't say that. I mean, you know, during the weekdays, it's not gonna be as much. Certainly, exploded since COVID, and it's remained, and plus, in conjunction with that, upgrading the sites.
Right.
You know, we have, great reviews on all these different campsites, and we didn't manipulate it, it organically happened, so that's word of mouth, there's nothing more powerful than that. And so that's been a great benefit to us, and the staff is good, and they talk about how friendly the check-in is, and, you know, all those things, help. But I don't know you know, weekends we're probably, 80, 90, close to 100%, but during the weekdays, and certain times of the year when it's super hot in August,
Yeah.
you know, you're not having as many, and schools getting back in service. And so there's these different time periods, so I don't know what it would flesh out to be for a year.
I don't know why we wouldn't just go ahead and go to the $10 on the archery deal, if y'all want to entertain that. If you don't, that's fine too.
I make the motion that we increase the archery fee from 8 to 10.
So move.
I think it would be fine, and that's, all they gotta do is show up, go out there and shoot, that's a pretty good deal.
It's a great sport.
Okay.
What about the entrance, the land fee?
Let me make one
Go
more
ahead.
comment before we go, or take action on that. And I know Matt's here, so Matt can probably speak to this a little bit. I've had, and so has Courtney, several conversations with Amanda, and obviously the CVB, I think is very open to conversations about phasing out, not just walking away. I think that's a fair statement. I don't know what that number is, but to James's point about, you know, things dipping a little bit with these prices going up, maybe we can work out some kind of timeline that you know, maybe less dollars, but maybe it can offset any kind of decrease we see, if that were truly to be the case, that we, you know, people were shell shocked and don't rent, you know, I'm sure we can offset that a little bit by that continued revenue coming from them. I can't guarantee that, obviously, but I do know that they're open to sitting down and discussing what, that relationship looks like from here on out. And so that, I don't think that's completely going away.
Yeah, and I might would just stress that, and correct me, Matt, if I'm wrong, but the position CDB is not that we don't wanna you kind of, I think a little bit earlier, is like, hey, it's not that we're not gonna invest in the park. I mean, they just made a huge investment, remind everybody on the bike hub. CDV made a huge investment in the park. And I think they'll continue to as we, as
I
James
think the plan is
shows
not
them a
to
vision
give
on
us
a project.
annual money,
Yeah,
but
that's
to
right. Yeah.
invest in the certain items in the
That's
park.
right.
I think
It's
that's
more
what
of
they're
a
trying to get to.
capital. The CDB in the years past has always been just giving money to operate, and not just the park, but other venues as well. And so we're trying to get away from just, here's operating funding, you apply for a grant for this amount of money to make this capital improvement, and that's,
And that will attract more people.
that's correct. It's
Even
gonna
more.
bring more people,
More
it's,
people, yeah.
so it's not saying that we're not gonna give, the CDB wouldn't give the park $100,000 every,
$200,000,
or
right,
$200,000
Every
every
couple
year.
years or whatever.
That's right. It's just
Yes,
gonna
we
be,
dream up projects
hey, we don't
and
want you
stuff.
to operate off that money.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this
I
is a
guess good.
positive for.
Absolutely.
It's causing us to have conversations that I feel like we need to have, and also opens them up to other investments that we could, potentially dream up on the capital side.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
And I don't, I think, James, I think we may have some decline like on the entrance fee type stuff, but these guys driving these big motor homes, I don't think it's gonna slow them down a bit,
No.
on the RV side.
I mean, it happened in times past. I think maybe those, you'll get the locals who will be the most local and who are elderly and on a fixed income who are gonna complain. But,
Are they in the RVs, or are they just paying land use?
no, I'm talking about RV.
Okay, you got some local,
Oh, yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah,
You
okay.
get people from 30-mile radius,
okay,
and then you get obviously the people traveling across the country.
but are we still cheaper than like, say, Lake Claver and Lake Garbo on RVs? Would you say?
We are right now probably about the same,
Okay,
but their sites aren't anything.
nothing like what we got.
Remotely.
I mean,
as
nothing.
With the increase would be about the same, James? or
No.
Oh,
good Currently.
currently.
So
But
it'd be
again, I remind
slightly
you
over.
that the state parks are heavily subsidized.
Right.
by
Yes,
the state.
that's right.
That's right.
Exactly.
So they're not even remotely close to being self-sustaining.
I got
Nor are the sites nearly as
Oh,
quality.
no,
I mean,
no,
it's just
our
not.
competition is Jimmy Davis State Park, Arbonne and Claver,
Mhm.
as far as state parks in our immediate area.
Yeah, we,
And none of their sites are even remotely as good as.
yeah.
as ours.
I think it's still a great value at the increased prices. I mean, all around the board, I think people are gonna really get their money's worth.
Yes, for this area to have that out there, yes, it's just huge. You've got to keep it up, and if you're just gonna take some increases, that's all you can say
Yeah,
about it.
it's an investment. It's their investment into the park.
It is. It's
And
their
if we need to
investment.
look at potentially upping our investment in years to come, I mean, I'm assuming we're still got about $50,000 a year investment in the park. We hadn't increased that. I think, that those are conversations that need to be had too, as the
Be happy to
conversation
receive.
continues, and, I mean, it's just how it is, so.
It's something special. Let me
It
tell
is
you.
really something
I hear
special.
that from people over
Yeah.
and over again.
And we need to treat it like it is,
Yeah.
I guess, is what,
Yeah, I've got a buddy from New York, every time he comes home, he brings his bike, that's where he goes.
Yeah.
It's-
So we have
it's
just
nonstop.
everyday local citizens that I've seen out there during the week that come and just sit and read a book, not even participate
Yeah.
in anything else. They just sit and read in their car, or sometimes they may sit on one of the benches, just for an hour. You're willing to drive and just enjoy the park just sitting, and think about how many single moms or moms come out with kids in a stroller, get their exercise. It is worth every penny, and the upkeep of it, and then all the events that are out there. Like James said, you go to a movie, look how much you're
You
spending
don't spend
just for a movie.
$50-$60.
You will. And if you're a family and you decide, okay, let's go to the park, I'm gonna pay $20 to get in, we're gonna do a picnic lunch. They can kayak, they can fish, if it's during the summer months, they can swim. It is so many free things out there for us to enjoy. Not just our citizens, local and far or near, but for us to enjoy. I know I do, I enjoy it.
Michael? That all you had?
That's all I have. If there's any questions, I'm happy.
So,
You have a motion and a second on the floor.
For the archery,
for the archery, so we got it, but what
We
about
haven't
the?
voted,
Admission.
we haven't voted on it yet.
I only think
Are we gonna
You either
vote
need to
on one at a
vote- you-
time?
You either need to vote on this motion,
Or amend it.
or someone needs to amend it to.
Okay.
I'd like to amend the motion I made earlier, increasing the archery fee from 8 to 10, but also adding the admission or land use fee from $3 to $5.
And the RV.
And the RV site to increase 15, but the premium site to increase by 20.
Right. So now we can vote on that.
You got a second?
Second.
Yep.
Carol.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that was the
Any
amended
nay?
motion. That was the vote to amend the motion. Now you
Mhm.
need to vote on the motion as
Right.
amended.
Now vote again.
Yeah.
Vote again.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Same people made the motion?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Just trying to keep it all.
Yeah, it carries.
Uh,
Any other business? Any public comments? Motion to adjourn,
Adjourn.
second? Second?
I'm not on the committee.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, we're adjourned.
There you go.
So, I mean, we're no point. Okay, you know what, I got to.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry. See you as well. Time already?
Finance committee comes to order. Invocation is gonna be given by Matt.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you this day. Thank you for all the many blessings you give us. We ask you to be with us as we go through this meeting and the meetings for the rest of the night. And please, we ask you to put your hand on our hearts and minds as we make good decisions for this community. In your name I pray.
Amen. A motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any public comments on agenda items? There's none. New business, discuss and take action if necessary, obligation of remaining ARPA funding.
All right, as everyone may know, we did receive several years ago some ARPA funding for around $9 million. And since that time, the jury had taken action to obligate for 3 projects, one being the server for the parish, another being the phone system for the parish, and of course, the health hub and health building that they're currently working on right now. Based on those calculations for those 3 projects, we do show there being a remainder of around $813,000. And Courtney does have a list of items that we will recommend for those projects.
There's a directive from the ARPA fund saying that you have to obligate the funding to some function, by the end of the year, which is why we're bringing this before you now. And so we have come up with some different projects that we would like you to consider authorizing. And I'll start with probably one of the more pressing projects, but it's also a very beneficial project that kind of came up at the last minute over the last week or two. So, as you all know, the sewer system that we're putting in, the new consolidated system, we had to get some grant funding, a forgivable loan from DEQ, which was what, $600,000? And then we got $350 from the water sector. All this went through the bond commission, it was all approved. We had to submit all the data, making sure it was sustainable. Well, the state, back in, I think, September, hired an outside firm to engage and evaluate all entities that are receiving water sector funds, because there's a problem throughout the state with these, smaller water systems and some municipalities getting this money, putting in or upgrading their systems, whatever they are, and then they're not collecting the money to maintain them, into the future. So it's basically called a rate study, whether it's sewer or water. So, no big deal. We're not worried about it. We send them all our data. They touch base every once in a while to get some updated figures and numbers. Weren't thinking much about it. 2 days before Thanksgiving, we get this email that says, we have completed your rate study. Our recommendation is that you increase your sewer rates from $45 to $63. Okay? So we're kind of like scratching our heads, They said, we need an answer by next week, whether or not you're going to go along with this, otherwise you lose your water sector money. So we're like, and as an aside, you saw the headline today in the paper. I think that the city of Ruston, they're raising their water rates for the same reason. And it's going on all over the state.
Didn't we do this before?
Last year, we raised it.
Yeah.
It wasn't because, well, yeah, it was. Yeah, we had a rate study done.
Yeah.
And it went through the bond commission.
I thought to get the money, you had to raise the rates.
Yeah.
But Office of Community Development, and I'm not throwing them on the bus, that their intention was good. I just think that, when you hire a firm that's got a bunch of accountants and MBAs, they're trying to justify their existence.
But keep in mind, they were hired after the fact,
After we've been approved.
on everything else.
So now we're given an ultimatum. So we're scratching our heads and, we just say, hey, what about this ARPA money we're gonna talk about to the jury? So, here is a potential solution that we would like to use this for. If we remove the debt and debt service component out of the numbers that we gave them, for our expenditures based on the revenues, that's gonna put us right at a sustainability factor that they're looking for. I think it's 1.15%.
At our 42 dollars current
Without raising.
that we just raised.
Without raising anybody's rates anymore.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, we'll have to go through a couple of steps to kind of set that bond money aside, but it's simply a matter of, we would use this money to pay the contractor directly.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that particular bond money doesn't come into play until after you've gone through the DEQ money. And, you know, we're not even there yet.
Yeah.
So, first recommendation that we've got is that we obligate $350,000 of this remaining ARPA money to pay off the, or to, how would you say that, Michael? To nullify
The debt service.
the debt service component on the project. So that's, we don't have to take these one at a time. I'll just run through them all and we'll talk about them. Okay? So that's the big one. Okay, we had a request from the sheriff's office to, you know, there's been some discussion on how the jury can participate in, you know, crime abatement as we continue to grow and as a parish, you know, with the good comes the bad. And so there's something we need to be looking at. And so the sheriff has made a request for $175,000 for some, I think it's some surveillance equipment of some kind. So that would be $175,000. The next component, largest component that needs to be considered is, if you remember, we set aside the construction of the new sewer building. You know, we talked about once this consolidated system is put in, we can take everything out of that building and kind of rehab it a little bit. So we have two possibilities here, but we got to set aside some money to do that, okay? You know, we can utilize the existing building kind of as a storage maintenance area and buy a new portable building to set out there, more like an office building, you know, to connect. Or we can renovate the existing building. So we're saying about $150K. Okay?
That'd be to probably renovate it completely, right?
Yes, yeah. Or buy a portable building and do some minor renovations on that building.
150, Courtney?
150, yeah. Another project that we came up with that's pretty urgent, and we're unable to find really any grant funding for this project, and is at the exhibition center. The lighting that is in the arena is the original lighting. It's over 20 years old, and it's the old type lighting. You can't even turn on all the switches at one time because it draws so much energy that Claiborne Electric will hit you with what they call a surge fee. So they have to turn some on and wait, you know, 5-10 minutes and turn another bank on.
And they're
It's
having a hard
just
time-
sucking power.
Having a hard time finding light bulbs too.
And bulbs too, and so it's just sucking the energy, and you know, the utility bill's high. So, a good project, and the commission met about a month ago, or a few weeks ago, and one thing they talked about was replacing the lane. So why not take $50,000, that's about what it's gonna cost, and put in LED lighting. You know, it's energy saver, it's gonna help the expo, you know, with their expenses, you know, cut down your expenses and your revenues increase. So that was another item. The fourth item that we need to consider is the furniture for the health agency. Because the Lincoln Health Foundation has kind of said that they're gonna commit to paying a hefty portion of the health unit and the health hub furniture, which we're gonna purchase off state contract at substantial savings by that way. But they're not really gonna consider the health agency when they move over there. So, you know, we got a price from that. It was about $50K to get all that ordered on state contract. And last but not least, you know, right now we're about $775. So we got about 25 left. What we would like to do, and we're gonna get into this a little later in the Public Works Committee, is some spray neuter vouchers. You know, now that we have an animal control program going, you know, part of that program is not just picking up stray animals. It's also being proactive in kind of keeping the pet population down if you can. You know, so you don't have all these unwanted puppies and kittens. And so we've never done anything like this really before, but we have, like I said, we'll talk about more of this in Public Works. We would like the jury to go ahead and authorize about $25,000 to be used in the new spay neuter program. So that adds up to about $800K. Did I miss anything?
No, that's it.
So,
Two
that's what
I
we're
got
putting
two
on there.
questions. Where is the surveillance for the sheriff's, gonna be going to? We know that yet?
I don't have any details.
I would assume high crime areas.
Yeah, I mean, is that something they're gonna be able to like monitor, like live, or just video and they go back and watch footage?
It's some components and some software, so I'm assuming it's some type of cameras, you know, that will be placed out.
Would we actually buy that, or would we just
No, we'll
write
write
them
a
the
check.
check?
And then they buy it, they maintain it, they have to get all the software and all the ancillary charges. We'll write them a check for $175,000.
And we're gonna write that kind of money, we don't know where the surveillance camera's going.
I'm sure we could get that information.
Yeah,
They just didn't tell us in the initial
And
question.
it may
Well,
not be
they
the
should have
best.
sent that information first.
Well,
From what I'm understanding, it's probably gonna be in the most high crime areas
That's
where
right,
they'll be
yeah.
located.
I just know if it's gonna be like some live feed stuff, or some, I'm just
Yeah.
kinda curious what they're gonna do. And then on the spay and neuter part, so we're gonna use that on an animal we pick up that's not, and then we'll go do that and then bring it to the shelter?
now what happens is, these
Get a
are
voucher.
vouchers. So, you know, if you have a pet and you wanna participate, you come up here and you get a voucher.
Okay.
And it's good at participating veterinarians. We've got 2 lined up now. There are 2 more that are probably gonna come on board. You know, you have to fill out some basic information, you know, sign a waiver, hold harmless clause, and then you take your form and your pet to the vet with the understanding, and we'll get into this later, but it's only gonna pay for the spay neuter, maximum $260. If there's any ancillary charges, the owner's gonna have to pay those. Once the procedure's done, the vet signs it and, you know, put what was done and how much, and then they get it back to us and we send them a check.
we'll probably just talk about it later, I guess, the details.
Yeah, the details, this is the conceptual
Yeah, of the ARPA money.
allocating the funding.
Okay.
I know item number one, I think everybody probably understood exactly what we're saying on that, but that would eliminate the increase on the
Yes,
sewer.
yes.
Yeah, that's right.
It's what it'll do.
Right.
Those people have been hit hard out there.
No doubt.
Well, they went from 20
It
something.
went
then
from
to 40
21 to
something, now to
45, and y'all
60.
know what happened on that.
Like
and-
a year ago.
Yeah, it just happened a little over a year ago.
Yeah,
So
so
you're getting ready to go up another $18, that's just,
it can't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have to
we
leave.
can't do that.
Find Milton
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, we ought to say please. But
I like it all.
think it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
I think it
I
makes
do
a lot of
too.
sense.
Make a motion to
And
vote.
I'm assuming it is, but everything, there's no, certain thing this money has to be used for, all of this fits criteria that we can,
yeah, I mean, it's,
Okay.
it's,
I mean, I'm
it's
sure
it's
y'all
pretty
did that,
wide open.
but I wanna make sure
as-
we-
As
Broad
far as what you
stroke.
can use that money for.
Yeah.
And, all these items, in our opinion, meet that criteria.
okay. Yep, I'm good.
So I
I'm
guess
not on
we'll
the
take
committee, so I
action
can't
then.
say nothing else.
So I make
To approve, EDC.
I'll make a motion that we approve the recommendations from, Michael and Courtney.
I'll second.
Motion is second.
Wait, you're not on the committee.
I thought it was.
Second.
All right, we got it.
We got a
Good.
motion is
I'm
second.
trying to get it through.
It almost worked, Bill.
As fast as you can.
I don't want to change their mind, period.
All approved, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes, so carried.
I think Milton voted too, just put that on the record, Milton voted yes,
Do we have any other business?
despite being on the committee.
No, sir.
No other business, any public comments? No public comments. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I got it, adjourn.
Courtney, you didn't have to bring it to anybody's attention, I'd have got it through.
New neck and still ain't doing good.
Let's call the order here. We starting our public work meeting, committee meeting at this time. Invocation, bow heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day you've given us. We thank you for our jury. We thank you for our being on the same accord and working together. We just thank you, Heavenly Father, for being in this parish and representing this parish. In your son Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, we get approval of our last agenda, please.
Second.
All right. We got that. Now we got our, do we have any public comments? No public comments at this time. All right, new business right here. Our first business is capital improvement program, for 2025, 2026, and 2027. Courtney, you want to elaborate on that?
Yes, sir. Michael is passing around the proposed capital improvement program. Just to give you a little background, to refresh some memory of older jurors and information for the newer jurors. The state requires a impartial parish-wide study, parish-wide need study of road repairs on a 3-year plan. It has to be, based on engineering recommendations. And so what we have here is pretty much the 3-year plan that we've come up with to present to you. If you'll turn to the first page, I'll go through the components of it. This has to do with what's called resurfacing, and if you see in parentheses, it's recycle. That's where we go in there and we do sections of the road where the base has failed or is in bad shape with our Bomag machine. We might have to add some iron ore there, and this Bomag machine actually mills or grinds down into the base, some fresh iron ore, which helps, support and build that base back up. There is a cost involved in that, because there's some additional materials there. And you can see those costs. $231,488 is the proposed budget number, and that's very closely in line to what we've expended this year. If you go to page 2, this is actually the resealing part. So all these roads that were on page 1 are also going to be on page 2 because they're going to be resealed. That's basically when we come in and put a 2 or 3 course of asphalt and rock, to build it back up. And so these are the roads that were determined to be most in need, looking at it from a parish-wide 46,000 foot view. And unless you have some questions about, and I'll just go ahead and throw it out there. I mean, we don't look at these by district or anything. I mean, the point of the capital improvement program is, you get your engineer to help your administrative staff and your highway personnel to look at this, and they use, objectively, based on what kind of shape the road is in,
And that was specifically, that's state law, first of all, right?
That's state law, yeah.
Specifically to get away from kind of a district by district look at it, correct?
Yeah, and it's a little more history. I mean, 40 years ago, a lot of parishes, each district or each ward, back then they were wards, they weren't districts, had their own highway department. So you might have like the police jury had 5 wards, I think it was, so there would have been 5 different, highway superintendents, and they have a small staff and some equipment, and then the jury would allocate money to each of those wards for them to work on. Well, it was very apt to corruption, and a lot of private driveways getting built, because basically the juror who was over that ward was kind of the head of the highway department. And then we're calling the shots. So the state said, no, not anymore. So if you want to continue to get money from us, here's how you're going to do it. And so they laid out these criteria. In fact, back when I started in 1985 under Michael's pop, I was hired as the purchasing risk manager, and that was a new position created by the state. It said that you're not getting any funds. One of the components that they required was a centralized purchasing system. You know, so you didn't have each juror in each ward going out and spending money. So, you know, long story short, we are where we are today. These are the recommendations, and if anybody's got any questions, I have it's a really rough map. It's not high-tech or anything like that, but if you want to look at, I took over the last 10 years, like roads, you know, where we've done them, and it's, I mean, I'll just go ahead and just kind of put it out there. It's color schematic, but you can see we're not focusing on one area. I mean, it's all over the board for the last 10 years.
Is
And,
that like by year, the
Uh-huh.
color, is it color by year?
yeah, I mean, it's hard to see. I really couldn't think of any way to do it. It's
That's cool.
pretty primitive, but anyway, but it shows you, you know, when you look at it, you say, I mean, you know, from a perspective, I mean, we're getting a
All
lot
areas
done
being
in
hit,
all
yeah.
areas.
And that's from the last, what, 10 years you said?
Yeah, since 2000, I went back to 2015. Because that, you know, you get about 10 years out of a chip seal road.
Can we look at that later?
How you look at it right now?
Oh, okay.
Courtney, how expensive is the bridge replacement? You got 2 bridge replacement, Rab and Shady Grove. How, that's not much, so it's, I know that's not a new bridge, so I just replace it.
Yeah,
repair
good question. I kind of missed that. If you go back to page 1,
it. Yeah,
A tank car or something?
yeah, so what you do is, when you tear out a bridge and put tank cars in, or you build a new bridge, the approaches on either side of the bridge,
okay,
it's always good practice to go in and recycle them,
okay.
you know, to make sure. So, we hadn't gotten to it yet, but we'll talk about the bridge replacements. But
So we don't have many, remember we talked to the governor, we don't have many wooden bridges now.
I think we have 5 left.
We got 5 left.
Yeah.
We're trying our best to
And
do away with them.
we're gonna take care of one right here with Shady Grove,
Okay.
and then another one with Rab Road. So after this, we'll only have about 3.
3 left, so we good.
Yeah,
We're getting there.
we're getting there, sure.
So we get 2 this time, possibly get a couple next year, we'll be good, okay?
Yeah.
Courtney,
So,
what percent of our roads, because, you know, the one thing we always hear is how bad our roads are. So, I mean, that's one thing, no matter what we, you know, like, what percent of our roads in our parish are state, and what percent are, is it like 70-30, 60-40? Because I tell you all the time, I didn't realize how many roads we have, how many state roads we have in our parish.
I don't know the percentage, I really don't.
We could get Jackson to.
I mean, I think that'd be something would be good for us to know, because, I mean, no matter what we do, right or wrong, that's the first thing out of somebody is.
But in reality, if you compare our roads to the parishes around us, we got some damn good roads.
But a lot of those roads we have problems with are state
State
roads.
highway, that's right.
So, I mean, that's what I tell people, what road are you on? If you're on a road that's got a number on it, you're on a state highway.
Yeah, we have 450 miles of road.
We don't one that's not
Parish
good.
roads,
A state
just be
road that's
curious
not
what
good,
what's
don't
the
want it.
state roads percent, you know, just what we use.
You could Google it. How many
Yeah,
miles?
I mean, I don't need it right now, but I think that'd be good information just to have in our back pocket, like,
Sure.
I mean, all we operate is 20% of the roads in the parish, and, you know, most of your roads to your houses or in the parish are probably on a state road. If it's got a number on it, it's a state road.
3,005. According to these roads here on this first sheet, these are roads that we're gonna do, we're not outsourcing those, right?
That's correct, we do these internally with
We
our
do
own,
these internally.
employees and equipment.
Okay,
In fact, you remember, we took bids on gravel last month, I think, and had to reject them, but then when we take bids on asphalt, well, those are the materials that go to
I
do
got
these
you,
roads.
that's good. And then the next one is just your minor, and then the hot mix overlay here is on three, right?
Yes, you can take a look. You know, we've been trying to do hot mix overlay, projects, you know, probably for about the past 15 years, might have been a little longer than that. You know, based on traffic counts, and there's some other factors that go into that. So we'll just go over the list that's on page 3.
Okay,
Frazier Road from its intersection with Cedar Creek Drive to 33 is in horrible shape. I mean, it's basically falling apart. And a lot of it has to do, you know, with that concrete plant, running those trucks in and out, making those turns, and going down to the stoplight and pushing all the hot mix and asphalt, it just pushes it out. So what we're proposing here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Hunter, but that particular road, normally on an overlay, you do a 2-inch overlay. This is gonna be a 4-inch overlay. Is that correct?
And if there's too much patching,
Yeah.
it'll be a rebuild.
Yeah, okay. So,
That was I got an earful about that road this week. That's
Yeah.
my next question, where the concrete trucks are we gonna make it thicker?
We are.
Because of the weight and the turn in, because it'll just hold that asphalt.
right, and there may be some soil cement involved with that.
Would concrete be, I mean,
Make them
at
do
least,
it.
We've never used concrete
I
before.
know, but I'm just saying like at the turn in, I mean, they could provide the concrete, you know, as far as the turn in.
I know what
and
you're saying,
And maybe
yeah,
the
yeah.
approach to 33, we can partner with them. I don't know, that maybe, I don't know how the transitions would be. but-
30 or 50 feet or so,
Yeah,
maybe
if
30
they
feet,
got the
maybe.
concrete there and say, hey, look, we're gonna do the rest of this, but.
Yeah, they seem to think that this is, I don't know if this is a super pave in that area or something like that.
It would be super paid.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be a, you know.
Should hold it.
So there's stuff that is made just for
Yeah,
this time.
and, you know, when you have a 2-inch thin, you know, it's easy to push out, but when you double that and you have 4
Yeah.
inches,
Right.
it holds it.
So you take it to the radius returns off of 33, you know, where the radius returns come back, they
Mhm.
make that concrete.
Make that concrete.
Apron,
Would it be helpful?
yeah, for the turns.
Yeah.
If it's affordable.
That's where they get you in those turn, when that weight, those two tandem dig in.
Push it out.
That's like we did our parking lot, where the dump trucks dump, we put 6-inch concrete where they would pick up, is asphalt, they'll eat that
Or
asphalt.
drive down a bumpy road.
And on page 4, that Courtney, on this bridge,
Wait, let's go back to page 3 if you don't mind.
back to 3,
Yeah, so the other thing we're proposing is Bell Point subdivision, which that road is basically falling apart. Has actually been on the list for a couple of years, I think, and we're just now getting to it. You know, we did have some meetings with some other municipalities, as directed by this jury earlier in the year. So you'll see that third one, College Drive, from RWE to Main Street in Grambling, that was their request.
yeah.
To overlay that. And then the other one we had was from Simsboro, which would be Braswell Lane from 507 to Rose Street.
Are they participating in the costs at all? Okay.
No, but,
That's not the intention.
you know, that kind of put us over a little more than I'm comfortable having to spend. We're usually, you know, at about 1.1 million. Actually, Simsboro wanted us to do from 507 to 563, is it? I mean, all of Braswell Lane, which we just we can't do it. We just don't have the funding. And, I'll talk about that here in just a few minutes when we. finish going through
Basically,
this.
once you go around the cemetery, it's not that bad to 563.
Yeah.
It's that one section that's pretty.
Well, this is supposed to be a pretty bad section, yeah.
It is,
too,
it
Right
is.
there, so, we'll knock that out. You go to page 4, that's the cost of the 2 bridges. Rab Road is one of our timber bridges, as Big Coach suggested. And Shady Grove Bridge is a capital outlay application that was put in 3 years ago, Michael, or 4. But it's just now bearing fruit. That's how long it takes to get through the process. So that 400,000 for that bridge is just the police jury's portion. The state's gonna pay for the other 400,000.
That's
And, page 5, this is what you approved advertisement for bids for last month. Bee Ridge Road. You're not able to put a culvert there effectively. You might wanna go into why we're using box culverts a little bit, Hunter, on Pea Ridge Road.
Probably hydraulics.
Yeah, the hydraulics, a box culvert's just gonna work better, as recommended by the engineer.
Okay.
And then, most of the jobs that we bid include the striping, but Simsboro wants that little section striped, so that's a cost for that. You can review the 26 and 27, program. It's been my experience that this program is apt to change, you know, by the second year and absolutely by the time you get to the third year. So, but it has to be a 3-year program. So, you know, that's kind of what we're looking at. And we'll continue to evaluate these roads in 2026. There may be roads that, you know, degrade faster or more need than these, and we'll have to switch them out. So unless there's any questions, that's your capital improvement program.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question.
Okay.
We've made that, I guess, pretty significant investment in that BOMAG and the larger chip spreader a couple years ago. Do we have any data yet on how much more road we're gonna be able to cover in a year with that new equipment? 'Cause we're
Well,
making
I'm almost positive that we're doing more mileage.
Right. That's, I'm curious, just like how
Yeah.
much more?
So here's what I was gonna get to, you know, and I might as well go ahead and do it now. So, you know, the jury's taken a really aggressive stance, probably the last 4 years on getting projects done. Once we finish with this year's capital improvement program, we're gonna be down to a 6-month fund balance in each fund. That's not bad, but it's not good either. You know, normally the fund balance is about, what, 2 million? And we'll be down to 1 million in each fund. So we may not be able to be as aggressive, you know, in our overlays and in our chip seals, and we have to focus more on one or the other, until, you know, things can kind of be built back up. The other thing that I need to kind of let you know is the millages that support that are gonna expire at the end of 2026. And so we don't wanna go into that either with a big, huge fund balance, you know, either, because that kind of works against you. So we'll be walking a fine line between now and then, you know.
We don't wanna show too much money that's in there.
Right.
But, because we're gonna have to actually renew that.
Yeah, I mean,
tax.
we're basically to the point where we'll have to allocate what we're bringing in.
I got
Because
you.
we've been drawing from the fund balance
Yeah.
supplement being so aggressive.
Okay, I knew we had to get two,
Yeah, yeah.
or could get two.
By all means, I think conversations should start next year about what
Yes.
our strategy is and where we're headed and things like that.
Is that the first?
Well,
That's the first of any of our renewals that's the one closest to us that would come up right now.
Yes. Yes.
when will we know about the striping of the roads? Cause I get a lot of calls about that.
I mean, it's something we'll have to look at. I mean, right now, we don't have a lot of extra money to put toward, you know, doing that. So,
We were testing that?
we did 2 roads. We did,
Yeah, it's a
help me, Kevin.
chip seal striping, right?
Riza Road, and, which was an older chip seal road.
Right.
It had been done like 3 or 4 years ago, and then we did a new chip seal road, which I can't remember, but.
Emory.
Yeah, off of Emory, but anyway,
Not Emory.
they're both in good shape. We
So,
checked,
it's
we're
working?
going into a year, I think we did that like last February.
Okay.
I checked them in June, and they were really good, and checked them here, a week or so ago, and they're holding up well.
It's holding up.
Both of them are.
Oh, wow.
Riser for sure.
Yeah, we were thinking that, you know,
Mhm.
loose rock on the chip seal, you know, but it's,
Did we just do the center line or did we do the fog lines as well?
no, we just did center lines.
I haven't been down
It was,
there.
it was Alds Road in Riser.
Okay, that's cool. I'm glad to know that that's working.
Does Alls Road get much traffic?
I have,
I know Riser gets pretty good.
I have a
I
question.
wouldn't say it does,
What you got there?
but
Which one is
we
that
were
now?
testing it because it was newly chip sealed.
That's right, I was just wondering
Yeah.
You said Alls Road?
Alds Road itself.
if it gets much
Between
traffic.
Emory and, Norris. Right, choose your.
Why did they tell us in orientation each district was allotted so much money?
I don't believe
If that was not so.
I think you're,
No, I
we're
didn't,
misinformed.
no, I didn't misunderstand that.
No, he said you're misinformed.
Oh.
Somebody misinformed you. Somebody told you the wrong
Did,
information.
didn't you hear, Big Coach?
What,
Attorney Debbie, when she gave the orientation, she told us to be watching in our district for what needs to be done. So when that time come for us to get our money, we'll know what needs to be done. It's according to how much money is allotted in our district. I mentioned to you, Kevin, you
Yeah.
supposed to got me some
We looked
information.
up the act and this, I think it's the Transportation Act.
I think that'd be hard to do because each parish has different number of sections, so that'd be hard. I mean, we'd all get, if that's the case, we'd all get less money. And then trying to do it as a whole parish. You know, if you had $1 million, you've got about 12 and that's all you get, and that's all you get. If you had $1 million and you pinpointed your deal, you can put your money different places. You know, it's different. Washington's 5, you know, we have 12. So, I mean, it would be, you'd be dividing, if that was the case, you'd be dividing the money up, everybody get less money, and some might not fix theirs and they got more, and some might not have less. I don't.
She couldn't talk about home rule charter government maybe?
No, she didn't say nothing about charter.
We looked at the act and that basically said exactly what Courtney said. It's supposed to be based on the parish wide.
I don't know. I
Maybe
have
ask
to
for
be
some
through
clarity
district.
from her on email, just email her and ask her for some clarity, Diane, and she'll provide it, I would
Did you
think.
hear that, Lutley?
I heard it,
Yeah.
I heard.
I don't know what she's talking about.
You wasn't there.
No, I was at those 4 years ago.
That's why she say it's good for the old jurors to come too, cause stuff changes
We
every
need
year.
we should email and ask her if she can clarify what she was telling you, what she's talking about.
I had never heard of
Well, I was there, and I don't remember them saying that it was for each individual district inside your parish.
I think it was just for the parish as a whole.
No, she didn't say parish as a whole.
But it may be.
That'd just be hard to do, 'cause every parish is a different number of
Areas
districts.
of Louisiana, maybe just.
Okay, here's the, oh, I'm sorry. The Parish Transportation Fund, this is Louisiana's revised statute. It says, all parishes shall adopt a system of road administration which shall require approval of the governing authority for any expenditures. And no member of the governing authority shall expend any funds in their ward or district without the approval of the entire parish governing authority. Each parish shall adopt a capital improvement program on a selective basis. All construction shall be based upon engineering plans and inspections. The funds appropriated to each parish shall be used for the benefit of the parish as a whole, and with the priority ranking for the parish, the most critical needs existing parish-wide, according to the ranking, shall be met first, and that's the statute.
Could I get a copy of that?
Absolutely.
Any other discussions on it? So, capital improvement program, any other questions on that? Anybody?
Has it, got a vote on it?
I got one more. Are we still going through it, or are we done going
Well,
through it?
I'll put-
You got another question?
Yeah, I was just gonna see, Spillers Road is getting like pretty bad out there. I don't know,
Yeah.
you know, if y'all could just take a look at it at some point, be
Sure.
considered for way on down the road for 25 or 26 or 27. But
There's been several complaints on
it's
it.
getting pretty tough.
Yeah.
Pretty rough.
I think they went over and worked on it a couple weeks ago.
Okay, that's
It
good.
was,
I got an earful about Fraser this week. Got something you need to call Matt. That's the truth.
So now we're
No,
gonna,
it's
we're
just-
gonna vote on the capital improvement program for 25, 26, 27. Right?
Need a
Yes.
Need
motion.
a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. So, moved,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next thing, an action on the bid on the gravel material, that's your sheet here, that's the sheet here, right, Courtney?
Yes.
Okay.
If you remember, we asked you to, not accept the bids, reject the bids last month and re-advertise, because we had some issues with the type of material that one of the vendors was, wanting to provide. So, we did that, and here are the numbers. Jerry, you wanna kinda run through that real quick?
You just want me to say the recommendation?
Yeah, for who we wanna award the bid to.
Okay. For C1 and, let's see, and LA, no wash maintenance, Rock Island Sand and Gravel. And then, C2, C3, and LASB2 to Granite Mountain, and, LJ Haddix for the crushed concrete. And this is all, picked up at Bitter's plant.
Okay.
We'll haul that ourselves.
No, we'll contract that out.
Well, I mean, no, yeah, we'll contract it out, Buddy, Myrna.
Question.
Any questions?
Yes. Why do we, contract that one out, but we go and pick up, what do we go pick up ourselves? We started hauling ourselves? That was it? Okay, I thought that, weren't we hauling this ourselves?
Yes, we used to do that, but then we found out it was, cheaper actually to contract it out.
Contract,
Because
okay.
we were having so many problems with, breakdowns and,
Okay.
hauling out of state and regen and all that kind of stuff.
I have a question.
Okay, okay.
So on this bid, Rock Island Sand and Gravel, is that a local company?
No, sir.
They're
Both
from-
of these are out of Arkansas.
Rock Island was the one that bid last time that didn't have the acceptable material,
Of course, they knew what they were.
but they do have acceptable material on the C1 and the wash maintenance.
But it was 25 cents difference between that and Rust and Rocket, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, in Simsboro.
But that's delivered. See, we will contract with, Buddy Burnham to pick the rock up and save $7 a ton rather than say.
See, we've been contracting, with Ruston Rocket for years. And they would be the bidder, and they bid the price of the material and the hauling, okay? So last year, we said, what if we split it up? You know, because we thought that the price was incrementally getting higher every year and not really justified why that was happening. It's the best way I can put it. So we decided to split it, you know, and take a bid on the material at the plant, and then get somebody separate to give us a straight hauling fee.
Yeah.
It was much cheaper. We saved the parish a lot of money hauling gravel last year.
Good.
Okay. We would recommend that we award the gravel bid to the low bidders as recommended.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause that's gonna be the 67.75 bid, right? Not the 81.75.
Correct,
And then we'll get Burnham to haul it.
correct.
So the C2 and the C3 are the ones that we buy the most of, very little C1.
So right now, we recommended that we go with the bid that we got, right?
Yeah, so Jerry, like the C2 is $40 at Granite Mountain, and then how much was it to haul it?
82, from, Reston Rocket, or you talking about Buddy?
Yeah,
35. We're saving $7 a ton.
Right.
By doing it ourselves,
By doing it ourselves, total cost $7 a ton.
per ton.
Yeah.
Okay.
I make that motion that we go with the figures in front of us.
We're saving $7.
Can we get a second?
So that's gonna put it 82 minus 7, be 75.
All in
That equals
favor?
about
All in favor?
$25,000.
Okay. Next discussion is take action necessary for spray nutrient and voucher program. Courtney?
Okay, we're running out of time here, but just really quickly, we would take the money, the excess ARPA money, that the committee approved earlier to start our spay-neuter program. Here's the voucher that the people would get. I'll just run through it really quickly. It's good for one free spay-neuter of participating veterinarians. They have to provide proof of residence. This is only available to residents outside of any municipality. And there's a limit of one voucher per resident per year. Not available for kennels or rescues.
So what you're saying is if they live inside of Centerboro, inside of Grambling, inside of Dubois,
right.
that's not good for
They can't
them.
use it.
Everything outside.
That's correct.
And that's for only
One animal per resident per year. It's good for a spay neuter up to $260,
Anything that's not inside.
260. And
which is
what
the
the-
highest fee. If it's a female cat and a female dog, they're, you know, the rates are all over the board, and, you know, male cat, male dog. Under 50 pounds, over 50 pounds, but the maximum you can charge is $260. So the voucher would be up to $260, yeah. But we have an agreed price with the vets.
That's what I was about to ask. We're
The
gonna
kind of animal it is.
negotiate
as to
a
what they're
price.
gonna bill us.
Okay.
Okay.
And we have 2 vets already that are on board. There's probably maybe 2 more.
2 to 3 more coming on board as well.
So,
Alex, I got a question. Ballparking here, not being held to this. About what percent of your animals come from the parish that are outside of the municipality?
Every one of them, I don't pick up in.
Oh, you don't pick up in the municipality, okay.
We do, at the request of the sheriff's office, if it's a bite, we have picked up some for Grambling PD.
And Grambling State as
But,
well.
I mean, yeah, Grambling State, but they've agreed to pay the $125 surrender fee, or the kennel fee. So they're paying for that service. But it's usually law enforcement that have to make the request, not an individual.
Okay.
If the
That's
Centerboro-
about $100 a year.
Hmm?
That's about 100 dogs.
Yes, sir.
a year.
Yeah, we're just getting into this, get some metrics and see how it goes.
Get started in it.
is the idea that this would be available to any resident that is geographically located outside the municipalities? Or was there kind of the idea of like a low income, like that this would be for more, you know, if you could,
Right
if
now,
you could afford it, then you couldn't get the voucher, and maybe if you showed proof of income,
yeah,
or I'm just
Voucher's
curious.
free.
No, I'm
All
saying,
you gotta
but
do is come
like,
get it.
right, but I'm saying, is it available just first come, first serve, or is it mainly
the
for?
way it is now, because I
Yeah.
don't wanna call it quick and dirty, but we had 2 weeks to put this together.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of other criteria when you start doing low income. I'm saying we're not gonna do that, we'll look at that.
That's right.
But we
Okay.
didn't have time to,
The idea right now being,
we're just trying to
First
get the
First
program
come,
started
first
and get the
served.
word out,
Yeah.
so it'd be first come, first
First
served.
come, first
But we are gonna look at a, based on income.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a participation based on
you
that.
could do like a sliding type
Yeah,
scale.
if you're
and
on
your money-
SNAP, and you can
Yeah.
prove it in something, you get a free voucher.
Yeah.
If your income level's at this, well, you gotta kick in $25.
Right, and so we'll look at that as we kind of
Correct.
grow the program.
Yes.
I think this is good. I mean, We've all
Because the
seen.
voucher also only covers the spay and neuter portion as well, so like if they wanted to get the rabies vaccination and stuff like that.
They'd have to pay for
They
that.
have to pay out of pocket for that.
And it's a catch-22 because the vet won't spay neuter unless they're vaccinated.
That's right.
But it says in here that you understand that there may be additional charges you agree to with the
To
vet.
get the dog up to date.
To get
on
the dog up to
shots and
date.
all
So I
that
mean,
stuff. I think it's, it's
Very
much
good starting point.
much needed and kudos to y'all for putting that together.
I make that motion.
No. Good,
Second.
Okay, so move. All right,
that's all I got, Mr.
That's it?
Chairman.
vote,
Aye.
any opposed? Okay, next, other business,
I don't have anything.
public comment. Jeremy,
This is a one grant.
Do we need to roll into that? Next one? All right. Call the Personnel Benefits Committee to order. Mr. Pullen, would you mind saying, invocation for us? Sure.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you this day, thank you for many blessings, thank you all the friends and the minds that are gathered here today. We ask you to bless us as we go through to the rest of these meetings, in your name I pray. Amen.
Call for the approval of the agenda.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Wait, are you on the committee?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I thought, all right. I thought it was Dan that said that.
Oh, no.
Sounds like it.
I'm gonna abstain from this one.
Any public comments on the agenda items? There are none. Mr. Courtney, if you want to start running us through our personnel we need to vote on?
Okay, so, there is I think most of y'all got our board and commission policy manual, back earlier in the year. And so there is a policy, for how board members are appointed. And the policy basically states that the Personnel Benefits Committee will review the candidates and make the recommendation to the full jury, unless it's a direct appointment, by an outside entity, which happens from time to time. So we'll start with Waterworks District Number 1, Mr. Scott Futrell, who is an incumbent. His term is expiring, and he is willing to re-up for another 5-year term. So we just need a motion to recommend his reappointment.
Motion to recommend.
You make a motion.
second.
All in favor?
Okay, we'll move on to the Tremont Water District. You have Mr. John McLean Sr., who is up for reappointment. And I think there was some correspondence in your packet. Let me see if I can find it here. From the Tremont Water District asking that Ms. Brenda DeBose be replaced, as she has not attended 4 meetings in a row, which their bylaws say, can cause. So they're recommending Mr. Walter McElduff replace her through her unexpired term, which would be through 12/13/2029.
I'll make the motion, we appoint Mr. McElduff to the
Second,
Tremont Water District.
Okay.
Second.
We gotta do Mr. McLean first.
Yeah, we gotta act on him.
Oh,
We gotta do
sorry.
Mr. McLean first.
I thought we just voted on that. Do we do this together or separately?
Separate.
All right, revise my motion to appoint Mr. McLean to the Tremont Water District.
Do I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Walter,
I'll make that motion.
second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Courtney, on to the next water district.
Okay, Water District number 2, Miss Lisa Mangum. She's also the incumbent and has agreed to serve another term.
All right. We got a motion for Miss Lisa.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Mount Olive, Courtney?
Okay, Mount Olive Waterworks District, we have 4 candidates for 3 positions. If you look on your agenda, Ms. Shalina Johnson, Ms. Gertrude Douglas, and Mr. Charlie Hudson are all incumbents. Mr. Butch Crane, Charles Butch Crane, is somebody who has indicated that they would like to serve. And there was basically a resume in your packet as to Mr. Crane's qualifications. So we need to choose
Choose 3 out of
3.
Is anybody here from the
Any of those people?
Mount Olive or the people here?
Do we know how
We
long?
had a discussion, but you talk.
Yeah, I had, I actually had some discussion on this, and, I talked to Mr. Ponton, just a while ago, actually, and, Butch is, actually in my district who had volunteered to serve on this, actually, quite a while back. But it's my understanding, and Butch is aware of this, that all of the incumbents are willing to continue to serve. But Butch's stance was, and he's very agree, he understands the deal and how it goes, but he thought they needed some representation from another area, although from it being in a consolidated, more of a consolidated area, needed more representation outside of where they have it at the present, which he lives in Crest Haven. And Crest Haven, they from time to time do have issues out there, and he thought he could be a voice for that. And the possibility would be, but it'd have to go through, to be some other arrangements made, is maybe they could add another one, but that we can't discuss that or can't take action on that tonight. And so Mr. Ponton is recommending at this point in time that to reinstate the incumbents.
How long have they been serving? Do we know?
I don't know the exact, I know Shalina Johnson, I think she was put on there because there was somebody, she's filling an unexpired term, so she's
So
relatively.
she's relatively new. What
I think
about Mr.?
The other 2, Gertrude Douglas, I think has been on there probably for,
You said you-
She took her husband's.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she's been on there for at least 1 term, I think.
Yeah,
And then Charlie Hudson has also been on there for quite a while.
one term, yeah, he's been on there a while. I think Mr. Ponton at the next water district meeting, he's gonna talk and he's gonna see, do they still wanna serve? If not, then they'll let us know.
Can we postpone this until he has those conversations?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd rather do that.
If he's gonna.
And I would like, especially a news person, to come in here and tell us why they, some reasons they wanna be on something.
Well, yeah.
And I know we got his resume, his resume's great, but.
It is, and
but what does that
I
make
shared
you-
that. I told him, I said, it would be advantageous for you if you could be here tonight. And he had a conflict he couldn't get out of.
Yeah.
And I get that.
I agree with what he's saying as far as like, if, I don't, where's that? That's so, where, how many people are on the board?
3. Oh, it's 5. These are the ones that.
All water boards have 5 members.
All
Yeah,
water boards
and
have
the-
5. And so all 3 of these are, I'm guessing like literally like up in the kind of Mount Olive Gar Road area. Not, and he's saying that he feels like he needs some representation
That's
from
correct.
the Crest Haven neighborhood.
That
Which
is
is probably,
exact-
other than Joe Mitchum and a couple of houses, that's probably the bulk of the population.
Mitchell Orchard Road, that area there, of course, that's where Crest Haven
Your
is.
house,
He
Crest
thought they
Haven.
needed some representation.
That's a valid,
Oh, it's a very valid point.
very valid point, yeah.
We could,
And one of those, that's my district, and one of those had got a health concern. And, so I think Mr. Ponton gonna talk with him and
Okay,
see.
so maybe they work this out internally, come
They
back
might
to
And
us.
if they don't, we can invite them to the,
Yeah.
to the committee meeting and y'all can interview them.
Have them
Yeah.
all.
Ask them questions.
I just,
how long
I
they
mean, I
can
think
serve.
it should be, you know, contagious to them, just say, hey, this is the reason I want on there, and I'm more, if somebody takes time to tell me why they wanna be on something, then I think that's better than somebody doesn't, you know.
Well, that's,
And those
Even if you're an incumbent, you can say, hey, I've served this long, we've done this, and, you know, I mean,
make their case too.
I think that'll work itself out.
So we need a motion to table.
I make a motion, we table this ordinance
Second.
for the waterworks.
all in favor? All right, Courtney, to the library?
Okay, Library Board of Control, it's a similar situation. We have one position open, and there are 3 candidates vying for that position. If you remember last month, we tabled this for a similar reason. We had some last-minute candidates that came in. Y'all didn't have time to review their credentials, and so you should have had their letters of interest in your packets, which I hope you've had time to review. So we need to basically, you know, choose one of these to be on the library board. The candidate whose term has expired was from the Dubach area, I believe. Now, there's kind of an unwritten code, you know, that says, you know, the library shall be representative of the, you know, racial makeup of the parish, basically. And so, you know, if somebody comes from one area, they're usually replaced by somebody from that area. Nobody from Dubach area, it's been a year, has it been a year? Close to it, probably. Has really come forward?
It's been since May.
May, okay. You know,
And like the mayor
to take the
or whatever,
position,
nobody.
yeah, to
has
take the
really-
position.
yeah.
And so they've been operating, you know, one board member short since May.
Okay.
And, so you got 3 candidates here.
How many make up the library board?
How many's on? 7?
7?
It's 9 total.
9?
That includes, the police jury.
Okay.
Police jury.
Of the 3 people here, I do know that, Miss Stephanie Smith is sitting here and is one that, is one to be on the library board. So I don't know if we wanna give her a second just to say something or things. I know everybody has her, resume in here, but I think it's good just to hear. Yeah.
That'd be great, thank you.
Stephanie Smith, I've lived in Ruston for over 25 years. I've worked at Smith Chiropractic as the office manager and the massage therapist. I want to be on the library board because I'm an avid reader and a fellow supporter of the library, friend of the library. I feel like the library's done an excellent job in our community, bringing it together with events and resources, and I just want to help support that any way I can. So any way I could be on the board or serve would be amazing. Thanks.
Is there anybody else here that is considering the library board?
So that's the only,
I don't see anybody.
make sure I'm clear, you're the only one of the 3 that showed up, correct?
Yes.
I just wanna make sure I wasn't overlooking anybody or nothing, okay.
The other ones knew we were doing this tonight?
I didn't notify them.
Okay.
It's on them.
I know Sabrina is out of town, because she's an active Friends member, and they're working on something, and their communication, she was out of town.
You're Miss Smith, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Is there any recommendations from you guys as a board on anybody?
We really, you know,
Oh, y'all leaving
I
there
don't
too?
count, no, I don't.
I can work with anybody.
Yeah.
I know the first 2, I know Sabrina Martin Walton, I know Stephanie Smith. I might know Carla Harvey more if I met her, but.
Maybe you see somebody you know.
Yeah, I've just met her.
Or the, on State Road out that north of the park. I don't know where Sabrina's from, the Grambling or Ruston area. I can't remember what she.
I'd like to make a motion to put Ms. Smith in that position.
There's a second on that?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Ms. Stephanie, we are recommending to the jury at the next meeting that you will be on the library board. Thank you for coming.
Be willing to serve.
Yeah, thank you for stepping up. Courtney, you want fire district?
Okay, Fire District, we have 2 terms expiring. there was a sheet in your packet that kind of explains, you know, it's a little complicated how members are appointed to that board, but the police jury basically appoints 3 members. And if you'll notice in the bylaws or the requirements, it says the board shall be comprised of at least 1 member from each ward. So this is based on the old 5 wards within the boundaries of the district. So, the municipalities of Downsville, Dubach, Simsboro, and Vienna are in wards 5, 4, and Simsboro and Vienna are both in 3, so they're already represented. So, you know, you're missing 1 and 2, basically. And then, you have 1 that can come from any ward. So is that clear as mud
Yeah.
to everybody?
Just right.
So, you know, Richard, AI, basically, you know, he's the representative from Ward 1, so that fills that notch. Anthony Garrison is from Ward 2, so that requirement's filled. And so Clark Canterbury, who is from Ward 3, but he's actually any ward representative.
I had a question. How did they choose any ward? Is that just the way it fell in, or?
Yeah, that's the jury, I mean, he put his name in the hat as somebody to be considered.
It's like an at-large member.
It's like an at-large
Okay,
member.
I got you. Okay.
He doesn't, you know, he could have been from 1, 2, 4, 5.
He just happened to be from.
Happened to be, yeah.
I was just wondering how they picked somebody, any ward.
No, I just put that on there to show that Simsboro, Vienna, and the at-large member, you have 3 Ward 3 representatives.
Right, I got you.
Basically.
But like some of these terms are still, like Richard I's term is still going, right?
Yeah.
He's not.
I think his expires at the end of next year.
You just wrote them on there where they were, the ones that were.
You were just clarifying where they were
Yeah,
all from.
yeah.
Like Mr. Parnell still on there?
He's still on there, but he's appointed by Dubach. That's a
Okay.
direct appointment. We don't
Okay.
appoint him. Same thing with Downsville, same
He
thing
should
with
be down,
Simsboro.
yeah, he should be down. Okay, so those are direct appointments from
And
those.
Vienna.
Yeah.
Those are
okay.
direct appointments.
Gotcha.
We have nothing to do with
We have
those.
nothing to do with it. So I have Richard I listed there, but we're not considering him at this point. It's Anthony Garrison and Clark Canterbury, who have both indicated that they would be willing to continue to serve. It's a 2-year term.
And Richard is, he's Ward 1, so what is that?
He lives down off of Riser Road, I believe.
Yeah, he does.
It's the old map, so. it's
So
like-
what is Ward 1 though? Cause each one have, like,
It's an old
It's
map,
just a-
it's an old map, like it's probably a conglomerate, it's probably like Milton's district combined.
Kevin,
with
can you bring up the?
Joe's district
He's
combined.
trying
with-
to like
1 and 2.
what I'm saying is like 2, 3, 5, like 5's Downsville, 4's Dubach. What is he, just, what's he represent? Just that ward, that
Ward
area?
one.
Just
Ward
that area,
one,
okay.
Yeah. And it's a big, I mean, it's a big district, it's an old map.
Let's see what I can do.
No, you're fine. I was just trying to, like, everybody had a, like, some kind of town or something they're associated with. I was just what that one was associated with. It's no big deal.
I bet it's pretty much everything east of 167 and south of I-20, if I had to guess, more or less outside the city limits.
Like, each of them had some kind of, some class, like, what does that represent?
Yeah, these are the old wards. Here's Ward 1. So here's Ruston. So it includes all of Ruston and some of the perimeters. Ward 2 is Simsboro, I mean,
Here it
Ward
is.
3.
North and south of
Yeah,
20,
Ward
heading
4.
toward Dubai.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just like, everybody had something next to their ward. I was like, all right, so what is his,
Yeah.
his,
So, history lesson, when was this abolished in districts?
You just never, oh, you talk about like the police jury?
Yeah, when was this?
Back when his pop was in charge?
Not before that?
Okay.
There are still a lot of bond issues and millages that are based on the wards. Our alcohol ordinances are all ward-based.
Should we revise some of this stuff to be district-based at some point, or no?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want, like the alcohol thing,
But then you gotta put it back on the
you
ballot.
gotta you gotta go through, yeah, the whole deal.
Otherwise, we
And a
still
lot
have.
of a lot of
wards are
these
still-
school board bonds, you know, they just renewing the bond. I mean, the districts have changed, you know, through multiple censuses and things like that, but the wards have not changed.
Gotcha.
So you may be, I think there's some cases where you may be paying taxes in a ward or something that you don't, your kids don't even go to school, you know, because it's kind of convoluted. you know, if they change it, then they have to put it back on the ballot, and if it's a perpetual bond, I mean, that's risks, you know, so there's some risks. So it's something we have to deal with.
All right. Anybody ready to take some action on our fire district appointments?
Those are good choices.
Yeah, these guys are both serving currently, right? I believe that
Yes,
the
they've
board's
indicated
satisfied.
that they're willing to
And
continue.
willing to continue to serve. I'll make the motion.
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
All right. Expo Center, Courtney?
Okay, North Louisiana Exhibition Center has an at-large member that has been vacant for a long time. Mr. Jerry Moore has been in that position, but, you know, his health is, you know, varies. So he's indicated that he no longer wishes to serve. And so somebody that I know that, that would be a real asset to that commission, very passionate about, you know, livestock, and the Expo Center itself is Mr. Patrick Pack. Of course, his brother is already serving Thomas Pack as a shooting representative, but I think, I mean, administratively, I would recommend that we appoint Mr. Patton as the at-large appointee.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, good idea.
Make a motion, we appoint Patrick to the Expo Center Commission as our at-large appointee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Just me. Sorry.
Any opposed? Weak. All right, passes 1-0. All right, next Courtney.
Okay, last but not least, yeah, there should be a letter in your packet. I think it was addressed to President Scriber, but Northeast Delta Human Services Authority, we generally have 2 appointees to that board. Dr. Tony Young was appointed last, you know, by the jury, but he has not, again, not participated. But and he's also agreed that he just doesn't have the time to get it done, and he doesn't mind being replaced. And so we don't have to have a name tonight. I'm just kind of putting it out there. I'll get you some, there are some recommended qualifications. I mean, they want somebody who's kind of, you know, works in the healthcare industry, maybe with a leaning toward mental health or substance abuse, you know, something like that. This is just for your information only, that Mr. Tony Young is resigning, and we'll need to replace him.
So no action we need to take on that then? All right, any other business we need to discuss? Any public comments? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Adjourn.
Y'all go get some more.
All right. Okay, as we prepare to enter into our December regular scheduled police jury meeting, prior to us getting started this tonight, I want to take just a minute to share a couple of things. This is Thanksgiving season, entering into a Christmas season. It's a time of reflection, like, you know, we're all kind of, always do. And I've had the honor to be in a lot of different places this past year, representing the Lincoln Parish Police Jury. And what I want to do is just give thanksgiving and to compliment the jury on the way that things have been conducted, the attitude that has been totally changed in this parish. Every time I go to a meeting or involved in anything, I'm telling you, it's not a week that goes by that I don't get asked, how is the jury going? And I explain to them how well it is going. And they said, well, that's exactly what I thought, but I wanted to hear it from you, talking about me. And so with that being said, I wanted y'all, to know that, because it's about you. It's about you. And every time I'm in a setting like that, I look at myself as an extension of each one of you, really. And I would never do anything that would compromise what we have going on, that would hinder anything that we have going on. So I just felt led to share that with this group tonight. That people, you may think they don't pay attention. Trust me, they pay attention to what's going on. And so that's high praise for you as a jury. I'm telling you, it's very high praise. And the town is excited about it. We have meetings with the city of Ruston fairly regularly, to tell you the truth about it. And the city is really excited about, just being able to work together. It eases all the tension and just make things where we can get things done. We got a lot done this past year. Things are moving in a very positive direction. So with that, I just say thank you, and let's continue on.
You're welcome.
So with that being said, we'll call to order the December meeting of the regular scheduled police jury meeting. Big Coach Williams gonna lead us.
I'd like to thank y'all for prayers for myself and Scriber. We've been we're getting a little older now, so the parts start tearing up a little bit. But anyway, but God is good, and we're about to, this year about to end, and it's just, I just want to say thank you for being a part of this parish growth and working together with a good group of people. And I just want to thank you for it, and thank you, Courtney, for your leadership and your team you got with you, too.
Thank you.
Let's bow our heads, please. Oh, gracious God, we just thank you for what you do. We thank you that you do things decently and in order. We thank you, Heavenly Father, you said anytime two or more gather, you be in the midst. And Heavenly Father, we just thank you for what you're doing for this parish through this jury and the leadership that we're showing through this community, that we can work together, we can get along, and we can move this parish forward. We thank you and we praise you, and we thank you for the presence of your Holy Spirit. In God's name, Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Are there any public comments on the agenda items? Okay, now I don't hear anyone that's got a public comment, so do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes of the prior meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Of course, there would be none. Committee reports. Mr. Dan Lord is going to give us a report on the Parks and Recreation Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Parks and Recs met at 5 o'clock. And
We had one item on the deal. It was to discuss and take action necessary to adjustment in park fees. We decided, as a group that we were gonna go up from $3 to $5 on the entrance with a $20 cap. And we were going to, on the archery, we were gonna go from $8 to $10. On the RV sites, we were gonna go 15 on the standard RV, and we were going up $15 on the deluxe and $20 on the premium. All the other items are gonna stay the same. Does that sound good, Mike?
That's it,
Right.
yes, sir.
Okay, so you've heard the report. That does come in the form of a motion from the committee. So do I hear a second on that motion?
Second.
Motion been made and second. All in favor of accepting this, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There is none. And, Mr. Lord, you get to continue on, and he's filling in for Mr. Henderson. He's not feeling well tonight, and so, Mr. Lord, give us the Finance Committee report, please.
Yeah, and I hope that we all say a little prayer for Joe, since he's sick tonight. Finance Committee met at 5:30. It was called to order, and we had one item, to discuss and take action necessary, the obligation of remaining ARPA funding. I'll let Courtney take that to kind of explain
Okay.
what all it was.
Administration presented the committee with recommendations for obligation of the remaining ARPA funding, which is due to be obligated in some way, shape, or form by the end of the 2024. The recommendations are as follows: $350,000 to supplant the bond funding on the sewer project, $175,000 to be go to the sheriff for crime prevention. You had $150,000 that would be dedicated to rehabbing the sewer building at the new sewer plant. You had $50,000 that would go toward the purchase of furniture for the health agency and their new building. You had $50,000 that was recommended go to the exhibition center for replacement of the lighting. And you had $25,000 that was recommended go to a spay neuter program for the parish. Recommendations total approximately $800,000. The committee was in favor of those recommendations.
Thank you. And now that comes in form of motion.
Okay, there's a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any other, everybody understand what we're doing? Any questions or comments about this before we vote? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There is none. Okay, Big Coach on Public Works Committee, please.
First thing on public work is our capital improvement plan for the last, I think it'll be 25 through 27 on our bridges, roads, and resurfacing, all that's gonna be done. You care to comment on anything on that?
No, I
We
basically,
got it in the book here, so it's,
yeah,
so can we get a motion on this, on our new capital improvement program?
we had some other items,
Yeah,
yeah.
just go ahead and do all the items you
Okay.
had, and
Okay.
then we'll do it all at one time.
The next thing is our action on bid for the gravel that we have here, and, we'll comment on that too.
We just recommended that it be awarded to the low bidders.
Okay.
There were multiple.
And the last thing is the neutering and spading voucher program that we got. That's new, and I think the parish gonna get one voucher, one voucher
per resident per
per
year.
resident per year. Okay, and, so could I get a motion on those?
Okay, that comes in the form of a motion. Can we get a second? Okay, got the second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Okay, thank you, sir. Moves on the Personnel and Benefits Committee, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. The Personnel Benefits Committee met at 6:30. Courtney, do I need to go through all these individually or just kind of? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We went through all the, we had a lot of appointments to do. On the Waterworks Board District, we unanimously appointed Mr. Scott Futrell to a reappointment. On the Tremont Water District, we unanimously appointed Mr. John McLean and Mr. Walter McElduff. On the Wateros District 2, we reappointed Miss Lisa Magnum. On the Mount Olive Wateros District, we decided to table it till the next meeting due to they only have 3 spots and 4 people applying. That might be something they can work out, or we'll ask the people to come and explain why they would like to be on that board. On the library board, Ms. Stephanie Smith was here, and we appointed her unanimously to fill that position. Lincoln Parish Fire District, we reappointed Mr. Anthony Garrison and Mr. Clark Canterbury unanimously. The North Louisiana Exhibit, we unanimously appointed Mr. Patrick Patton, and the Courtney brought up the request for Dr. Tony Young to be replaced due to his time constraints. And Courtney's get us some information on that to start trying to get somebody to replace him on that. Mr. President, I give you that in form of a motion.
Okay, thank you, sir. That is in the form of a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion is made with a second. All minds clear on this? Any questions? There are none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There would be none, so that passes unanimously. So, Mr. Administrator, public hearing, open public hearing, so.
Yes, sir.
What we need to do there.
We called this public hearing last meeting. It's a requirement for the final adoption of the proposed 2025 budget. So we need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
A second.
Okay, do we need a roll call vote on that? Can we, okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There are none. Okay, so now we move into item number 7 on public comments on 2025 proposed budget, humanitarian enterprises of Lincoln Parish.
Yeah, basically, we're just calling for public comments at this time on the 2025 proposed budget for the humanitarian enterprises of Lincoln Parish. Is there anyone that wishes to make public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to public comments on the 2025 proposed budget for the Lincoln Parish Police Jury. Is there anyone present tonight?
Okay, I'm sorry.
That would like to make public comments? Seeing none, Mr. President, I recommend you close the public hearing.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we close
Make
the
that
public
motion.
hearing? The motion's made.
Second.
And a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Public meeting is closed. Now, get into item number 10, adoption of budget resolutions, humanitarian enterprise of Lincoln Parish 2024 amended budget. Michael?
Mr. President, the only change for the health agency for 2024 amended will be on page 2, which would be the heat and energy crisis lines. Like I said, I mentioned last month, I wanted to kind of wait and see what the activity was going to be on that before I put a final number. But that is the only thing that will be different from what was presented last month.
Okay, do we need to take each one of these individually?
Yes.
Okay, so do I hear a motion?
So moved.
on that?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And it does pass. Item number 11, humanitarian enterprise in Lincoln Parish 2025 proposed budget.
Only difference are the same 2 items, heat and energy crisis assistance. I used the same number for this year just because there's no projecting where that will be next year, but it is obviously a great start.
Okay,
So moved.
motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. And it passes. Item number 12, Lincoln Parish Police Jury 2024 amended budget.
Okay, only 2 items being amended from what was provided to you, major items that were provided to you last month were the sewer fund on page 14. You'll notice professional services will be up. We're currently dealing with some blockage issues, and still was waiting on the price up till today. We probably won't have that price in the end of the week, so we've got a placeholder in there to at least cover those costs. But obviously that's a little bit out of our control. We can't leave that blockage there. And then ARPA, page 26, we did get another invoice from Lincoln Builders since the last meeting, so that number reflects the construction costs, obviously. But that's the only major changes on the amended 2024.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second. Voted and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. And it does pass. Item 13, Lincoln Parish Police Jury 2025 proposed budget.
All right, all the major changes are obviously the payroll information being added, and then on page 6, special road fund, under professional services, there's obviously a big jump in transportation, which that is for the transportation plan that this jury took action on, that will probably get the bulk of those invoices going into 2025. So other than that, there's no other major changes for 2025.
Do we hear a motion?
So moved.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There are none, and it passes unanimously. Adoption of departmental budgets. The North Louisiana Exhibition Center 2024 amended and 2025 proposed budget.
So this is the, well, I said it the first time, I did send this out to the jury. This obviously was not presented last month because their board had to take, or their commission had to take action on this. Obviously, the only items of note, major change will be on the amended, it being the revenue going up, as well as improvements in development, which are really a good indicator of moving in the right direction, because the changes we've made out there are these site improvements and things that are gonna help with efficiencies and create a better experience for the user. So that's obviously a great thing for the expo. And then, of course, in 2025, the salary study came back for her, and that's a change there, as well as the revenues continuing to trend up, which obviously is nothing to complain about. So that's all there really is to that budget.
Okay.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There is none. Move into new business. Authorize the president to execute 2025 cooperative endeavor agreements with GIS and IT.
Okay, as you're aware, these are both departments that we participate in funding with, along with other multiple agencies. You're all familiar with GIS, and of course, IT provides IT services for the police jury. We have access services through a cooperative endeavor agreement, which is annually, and need to authorize entering into that again.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There is none. Item number 16 on the agenda, authorize president to execute intergovernmental agreement with Lincoln Parish Coroner.
Much like the GIS and IT agreements, we have an intergovernmental agreement with the Lincoln Parish Coroner, basically outlining who's responsible for what when it comes to payments. It's the same agreement that has been in place for many years, with the addition of requiring the coroner to purchase general liability insurance, which, if you remember last year, we talked about how the police jury is technically responsible, since that's a reasonable expense of his doing business as a coroner. So we've made that adjustment and would recommend authorization to execute the agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There would be none. Okay, item number 17 is something we have to do each year. Set 2025 meeting dates and times. Any discussion or suggestions on that?
You know, we talked about this last year, but, you know, we went ahead and, you know, renewed what we've always done. After that, I did some research. You know, we're the only parish in the state of Louisiana that meets at 7 o'clock at night. Really? Yeah. You'd be surprised, most of the others meet, you know, all hours of the day, from 9 to 12, 1 to 2, and I'm not suggesting that. You know, the reasoning behind, you know, meeting at such a late hour for years and years, ever since I've been here, is, you know, people get off work, they need to be able to go home and, you know, relax and have a meal with their family, and then come back up for the jury. I don't know if that's really relevant anymore. I mean, I'm just giving you my opinion.
Yeah. Right, no, we want it.
You know, there are several other juries, you know, that meet at 6 o'clock. I mean, my suggestion would be to at least, let's move it back to 6. Still stick with the second Tuesday of every month, but,
That would be the main meeting, and then the committee meetings would precede that.
proceed.
Yeah. So we might be looking at like some 4:30 committee meetings, potentially.
Or have to have them up during the day, because some folks gotta work for a living.
I mean, and we can talk about other ways to handle that. You don't have to necessarily have your committee meetings the same day you have, I mean, you could have them the day before.
Yeah.
at 6 or whatever. and
Just
then
whenever the
have-
chair and his
Yeah.
committee can all get together.
What time do you typically get off the bus, TJ?
Almost 5, about 4:40, 4:45.
But can you
Where
come,
in
come
Farmville?
through today?
Yeah, about halfway to Farmville where I live.
What about through today?
Oh, during
9?
the day, I'm good with whatever, it's just that bus route in the afternoon kills me.
Or what about that?
Yeah, but you have other
But if we just have a committee meeting
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
have to be
but-
at, like solid waste, I just have to do it.
But you would schedule
Yeah.
that one at
Right, I would
5:30.
schedule that one.
You'd schedule that at
5:30.
5:30, right? Yeah.
I'd be all right with moving up an hour.
I would too.
Yeah, it's a
Mr.
car
President,
meeting, though.
I
Yes.
make the motion that we move the regular scheduled police jury meeting up to 6 p.m. on the second Tuesday of the month and adjust subcommittee meetings as needed.
Second.
Is that possible, Courtney?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we've heard the motion, we've got a second. Are there any other comments or questions from anyone before we vote?
I would assume the staff would be very agreeable to this.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
You got an amen like that.
He's got one hand on the door already.
Yeah.
In fact, I was kind of strong on you to put that out there.
I like that, so we've got the motion and second. All in favor say
Makes
aye.
sense.
Aye. Are there any opposition to this? There is none, it passes unanimously. Item number 18, adoption of ordinance for sale of adjudicated property parcel number 24184BEN010.
It did not, we only had one bidder, so it did pass for the, standard amount of code. I don't know if you did that number. So it was basically passed with the taxes owed, which was $3,145.91.
And what was this?
It was right there by Gramblin's West Campus on the north, kind of the northwest corner of Gramblin's West Campus. It's considered off of Bennett Road,
Yeah.
even though it doesn't have an address.
I don't know where it is.
It's like an old gas well station.
Yeah.
So,
So we would recommend adoption of the final ordinance.
yes.
Motion.
Okay, so
Second.
that is recommended, got a motion and a second.
TJ motion.
Thank you.
I do have a comment on that.
Yeah.
Okay?
We just voted, as you may all know, that you just voted an election. The adjudicated property process will be changing.
Saw that.
My understanding is not gonna go into effect till January 1st, 2026. So we still have at least another year of doing this. But coming January 1st, 2026, the process will change. I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna do at this point, but I don't foresee us as a jury, or y'all as a jury, selling any more property.
At all?
That's-
It doesn't just extend the time or redemption period?
I have to further investigate that, but my understanding is no.
It was pretty confusing on the ballot.
Yeah.
Pretty confusing, and it really has to do, I think, with buying an interest in the property now, instead of, actually having it adjudicated to the parish and then, redeeming it for taxes. You don't pay taxes, I don't think. We'll just have to get some more data.
Yeah, I'm sure I would hope that somebody would put it out, so like a white paper on like the tangible effects of it.
The thing is that they can still change it, like, it's just taken out of the Constitution and made it more something that the representatives can change now.
Oh, so now they can,
So now they can,
okay.
they can mess with it, so,
Well, now they may mess with it, yeah, now that they can mess with it.
yes, I don't know.
They mess with everything.
We just know it's definitely gonna change in January 1st, 2026, we just don't know exactly how it's.
So we gotta tighten up in 2025.
Correct, so,
We gotta sell as much as we can.
yeah, if we sell as much as we.
Fire sale.
We probably are gonna stop around
I'll take all the oil
fall.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so any other comments
All
on
the
this
oil fields I produce.
prior to voting? Okay, all in favor of this, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? There are none, passes unanimously. Item number 19, and the final one on this, adopt resolution relocating polling place for Luffy Catholic Life Center to Cypress Springs Elementary School.
Okay, we were told about 6 months ago that the Luffy Catholic Life Center did not want to be a polling place after this year. They would fulfill their obligation through the end of this year, which they have done. But going forward, they would like us to look at finding somewhere else. So I visited a little bit with Annette, and she's, it's her district mainly, and she's in agreement. And the school board also, they have been contacted, and they're in agreement to move it to Cypress Springs, which is, I can't give you an exact distance, but it, half a mile maybe,
Yeah.
or less than a mile or less, from where it is now. It's really gonna kind of be a better situation because you're dealing with another governmental agency, rather than a private company. And so, you had a copy of the resolution, you see the precincts that are affected. It's 0903 and then 12-1, 12-2, 12-3, 12-4, 12-6. Once you adopt this tonight, we'll do a public notice, we'll send a letter to the Secretary of State, and the Registrar of Voters will notice all those individuals of the change. We recommend that you adopt that resolution.
So moved.
Second.
And we should thank the Lucky Center. They've been
Absolutely.
an awesome
Yeah.
host
Yeah.
all these years. They've done a great job.
That's the St. Thomas,
Yes.
Yeah.
building resident.
Yes.
Student Center next to the church.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There would be none. Mr. Sutton, how about a treasury report?
Well, I think the budget will cover the treasurer's report, but I will report that sales tax collected prior month was $796,059.43, over $772,881.45 the same month the prior year, so that's about a 3% increase. So that's, I think, a positive note in the year on that sales tax is still going up. But that's all I have to report.
And let me tell y'all, Denise Griggs over our Sales and Use Tax Commission, that lady will find every dollar she can for this parish. They do a great job.
Yeah.
Great job.
Okay.
If anybody visit the park during Christmas, it looks real good out there. The Christmas at the park.
Make them like that.
Lots of fun, yeah.
It looks good. Get a chance, make a visit by there.
Other business and reports.
I was just gonna mention, what Big Coach started to allude to, Light Up the Pines, I think we had over 1,000 vehicles, in 3 nights. How many?
1,527.
Yeah,
Wow,
which is
that's great.
kind of a record. We got one more weekend to go. Encourage everybody to come out Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night this week. If you're familiar with the shelters at the park, S2, which is, it's the last shelter on the left as you go toward the beach. It's kind of where we have set up most of the police jury's decorations. I mean, actually for the police jury, but you're welcome to come out and not camp, but, hang out there. If you want to wave to people or whatever you want to do, just feel free to come out.
Campaign, yeah.
Saw some Dan Law stuff like that.
How'd that happen? Isn't that a compliment? But anyway,
The last thing I want to say is that, the Bearcats will be in the Dome Saturday.
And so Big
3
Coach.
years in a row.
That's 3 years.
And I just want you to know some good stuff be going on over there.
That's right.
So if you get a chance,
Go
turn
down.
the TV on
Go
if
to
you
New
can't go.
Orleans.
But I will, got all my handicap thing lined up, so I'll be.
do you have anything? Carrie, you got anything?
Just want to let everybody know, the week before Christmas, you'll start to see the roll-off dumpsters at the dumpster sites, the busiest sites during the holidays, and they'll be there maybe a week or two after the first of the year, that things slow down. Hopefully, the people use them for boxes first and foremost, because that's what fills up the dumpsters during the holidays, but you'll start seeing them coming out.
Carrie, I was gonna ask you, because the one in Douglas, those roll-offs get full real fast. Are we gonna, like last year, the people just kept piling on, but I don't know, are we gonna try to get those dumped in a little bit more maybe than last year?
Hopefully, we'll be able to do that. Just depends on how fast we can move trailers in and out at the landfill. That's when they bring them in, once we have room for them, because they'll fill up the trailer by itself.
I know last year they were,
Yeah,
they were-
it was busy.
yeah, they were a disaster at some point. It was just,
Right.
they were just piling them on there, it was just falling off. And I don't know, maybe we get 2 more at the Douglas one than we had or something, because they get,
We could just rent extras and leave them in the roll-offs at the landfill, right? I mean, just go.
those get full at Douglas, like, and they don't stop piling it up. It just gets piled up and it's on the sides and it's piled up and it's piled up. But I don't know, we can put maybe 2 more out there or something like that, but it gets, yeah, that place gets a little overwhelming, during the holiday time.
We couldn't stack them. Once they got full, just get them hauled and put, when you turn to go up to the building right there on the right, where we got those trucks sometimes parked. If our trailers are full, just stack those roll-offs up there until we got room to haul, dump them, and just leave them stacked there. Depending on how many he would have available for us. Yeah, is that Domain that brings them? Domain, right.
Carrie, do you plan to put one on Highway 80? Wes, you know?
But if we can find a room, I don't have any problem. with
Please
it.
make room, please.
Find a room, get off the road,
That's a bad
and work
spot.
truck and back up too, because it's
Right.
right there, so, yeah, we can find a room, I have no problem with it.
This year might be a little better because Christmas Eve is on a Tuesday,
Yeah, much
Christmas
better.
is on a Wednesday. So that means they'll be able to run Monday, and then they'll be able to run Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, I think last year the
Doesn't
dump
back-
was closed a day or two, and I mean,
Yeah.
because, I mean, even at the store, we were backed up on trash, because everything was kind of shut down a little bit different.
We could, I don't know, this might be kind of cheesy or, I don't know how we do it, but you put some signs on them things that say, please crush your boxes.
We're
I mean,
trying to do a video, it's just.
Yeah, some public education, I mean,
Yeah.
just simply crushing the boxes is
You
huge.
might see my
They
video.
take up all the
You
room.
don't go buy a dumpster and
They
it's,
technically do when they throw the refrigerator on top of it.
Man, you can educate them all you want, you have an empty dumpster sitting there, and there's trash all on the ground next to
Those
it.
people can't read.
Yeah, if there was a way we could drop 2 more if they were available, I think that would help, but it's a different week than, last year it was a mess last year over there.
It's gonna be-
Any
Thanks,
other
Gary.
reports? Any other, from anybody? Okay, any public comment? Anybody? I hear none, do I hear a motion? Oh, okay, we do have one.
Yeah, I'm here again for, the property on Law Road. I hadn't heard anything, concerning what y'all are doing, but I was trying to come here and see, what's the step, the next step.
Okay, there is no next step. I mean, we've got advice from legal counsel, and I've got a copy of a letter that I can give you that recommends that our hands are pretty much tied at this point, and there's no action the jury can take to release that property.
Oh, you don't vote on the jury?
At the recommendation of legal counsel, no.
I'm still in the process of trying to get my mother's property back. And, we, called E&P to give her the money, and nobody called back. And, she said, we'll get in contact. I don't know what y'all said.
I don't understand how that can happen. I mean, the jury's been titled, and, I mean, the property's been titled already in the name of the jury. It's been filed in the clerk's office, so basically that property belongs to the police jury.
So what about the oil
It
royalties
doesn't
that we
matter
have?
what-
We have oil royalties on that land.
How does that work?
What?
If you own the oil rights, you retain those, we don't keep them. If you didn't have them and you know, they weren't signed over to you, then we would acquire them. Correct.
Well, it was my mother's property, so I'm an heir, so it should be.
I mean, I can't, but you're getting way out of, you know, things that we can answer questions about.
I know, well, every time I come here, I can't, you know, I'm not getting.
Well, I think you're getting conflicting information from people because there's really no way to redeem the property at this point. I mean, we've gone way past that. I don't know who might be telling you that you can pay your taxes again. That's off the table, basically. I mean, the only option that the jury has would be to declare the property surplus, okay? Which means we have to prove we don't need it for public purposes and then auction it off. And that doesn't mean that you'll get it. Anybody can bid on it. You see
Oh,
what I'm saying?
my granddaughter needs a place to live. I mean, my
I know,
mother
but
got that for us.
what would keep Joe Blow from somewhere else coming in and outbidding you? And then, you know, we don't have the property and you don't have the
It's
property.
just not in your family's.
That's one thing. And the second thing.
Pardon me?
It's not in your family's name anymore. Y'all have lost the property.
How's that?
Didn't pay the taxes on it.
I mean, we tried to pay it.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen, no. Trying and doing it happens to be two different things.
But every time we try to give y'all the money, you never.
Because we can't. It's
We don't
a
pass
closed
that
deal.
point, so they're trying to say it was past that point of.
So who I
them
need to call, you know, to find out what I need to, the next step?
That's up to you, man.
There's nothing you can do, I don't think, ma'am. If the property's owned by the jury, the dates of being able to pay the taxes has gone past the point where you can pay the taxes and get your property back.
We just found out this year that y'all trying to take it, so So what is the deadline?
It's already been done.
It's done. It's passed.
passed.
Okay,
I think
okay.
it's a 3-year window. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this happened for years, but it didn't just happen this year, it was information before that from what we understand, so it's past that. I think it's a couple year window, you have to retain that, pay that. and
Okay,
that-
okay, yeah, okay.
Do I hear a motion that, we adjourn? Motion made, second, all in favor, stand.
Hey guys, we still need some signatures. Please don't.
Go supper with my kids. Actually, I'm about to go to softball. I'm right here.
You got it just before? Yeah, I got it just before.
What is it? Oh, for the committee.
No additional.
How are you? Doing all
Yeah, they're close up, they also go get hot.
That's just for you. They don't stay clean. They can't hold it.
What those were, Brad, he's like,
That, right?